Okay, hello again, everyone. And Lara Ryan here, another live stream, this time based on IELTS Writing Task 2. So this is what we do every Thursday, where I will show you a Task 2 question. I will get you to respond to various tasks that you will need to do when you're answering these question types, and I'll give you feedback based on what you produce. So if you're new to Complete Test Success, you may not be aware of some of the Task 2 lessons I have produced, and you can find those with the link here. So if you don't know how to respond to Task 2 question, you can use these lessons. However, in this live stream, what I will be doing is just giving feedback based on your performance. And in previous weeks, we always started with the paraphrase, but there are more and more students joining these days, and I'd just like to push forward a bit further through the process of writing a task 2 answer. So today I've written the paraphrase already. So just give me a moment here and I will share the question. All right, so this is the question. As technology continues to improve, it replaces an increasing number of jobs that used to be done manually, such as car assembly and bank transactions. So, like I said, I've written the paraphrase already, so this is it. As technology advances, more and more manual jobs, including car assembly and banking, are being automated. Okay, so that is the question paraphrased. So the first thing I want you to tell me is, how many main ideas do we need for this question type? Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this situation. So how many main ideas do we need? Hey Farzana, good to see you here. Welcome to the lesson. Hey Rupinder, good afternoon to you. Sarwa, hello and good morning. Hey Sarwa. 4 ideas, says Rupinder, and that is exactly right. So it is advantages, so we need 2. Disadvantages, we also need 2. So that is my first task for you today. Sarwa got it as well. Good. Hey Camrol. Going very well. Thank you, Amro. 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. Exactly. So, like I was just saying, my first task for you today is, what main ideas can we use? So give me what advantages and what disadvantages you would include in your answer to this question. Hey Jashan, good to see you here. Hey Kring. Hello Jervin. Always a pleasure. Abu Saleh, hello to you, sir. Welcome. Hey Irene, welcome. And Arzu is here. Doing good, Arzu. Thanks. Hopefully you're keeping well. Hi, Japlene. Irene from Nigeria. Very good. I have a lot of Nigerian students, so you're in good company. Hey, Maravik. Kamrul from Bangladesh. Great. Welcome to the lesson, Kamrul. Kus from Nepal. Hi, Kus. Exactly, Amro. Yep, that's right. And what I'm looking for now is what specific main ideas we will use. So what main ideas can we use? Hello to you, sir. Welcome. Welcome to the lesson. Sorry, sir, the question isn't clear enough. Can't really see it. Could you try turning your phone sideways? What I found in the past is like a lot of students, when they if they hold their phone this way, they can't see, but turn it sideways, you get the full screen. You should be able to see it better. I'm guessing that's the problem. But let me know if I'm wrong. This student from Iraq, very good. I'm working one-on-one with an Iraqi student at the moment. Lovely guy. Hey, Rupinder, advantage, high unemployment rates. Disadvantage, high unemployment rates, dependency on technology. Very good. So that's correct. Technology advance rather than manual jobs. The vocab you're using here isn't clear. So the word advance doesn't clearly communicate the idea that you're thinking of, Amro. So that won't work. Okay, so I'm going to take Rupinder's ideas. Okay, so with Rupinder's ideas, we have suitable ideas. They're both appropriate because they're specific and they're relevant. So we have our two disadvantages, but we still need our two advantages. So we still need two more main ideas to complete our introduction. Hi, Jagraji. Thanks for your help. Very welcome. It saves our time. The advantage is it saves our time because the machines can do it faster than the people doing it manually. Yep, that makes sense. So let's put that in. So the advantages of this situation are that it saves time. Okay, so we just have one more main idea that we need. Less burden on workers. No, because if the situation is it's replacing the jobs. So it's not that there's less burden on workers, it's that there's no work for the workers. So it's not that people are using technology, it's that people are losing their jobs because of technology. High productivity, yep, that definitely works. However, we already put in it saves time. So if we're going to go high productivity and saves time, those are too similar. We're going to end up, when we try to describe them, it'll be difficult when we try to develop them, our development will be pretty much the same. So high productivity is fine. It saves time is fine, but I don't want to use both of those together because I think when we try to develop them, they'll be too similar. Hey, Mila, good to see you here. Ariane, hello from Italy. Very nice. I was in Italy. It's a very long time ago, though. Lovely place, too. It makes it faster. So again, makes it faster, saves time. I think those are similar. So your idea is fine, but I won't add it to the paragraph you see on screen. Saves money, saves time. Yep, those are definitely two different ideas. It saves money and time. It saves time and money. Great. So those are our 4 main ideas. They're all specific and relevant. Hey, Leo. Technology knowledge is increased? No. So it's not about doing research on technology. It's about using technology instead of using manual labor. So if you have a company and you have the option of using a machine or some software, or you have the option of hiring a person to do the same job, you're hiring the machine or the software, or you're buying the machine or the software. That's the situation we're talking about. Salik, with the advancement of technology, it enhanced the area of non-human activity than directly attached jobs such as assembly and banking. So we're looking at main ideas at the moment. I have the paraphrase there already, Salik. Patrick, you're very welcome. More cost effective, definitely. Yeah, so that would be saving money. Okay, perfect. So from there, let's just focus on the first idea. So it saves time. So based on the first idea, I want you to tell me, how can we develop that idea? So how can we explain, or how can we exemplify? Whatever way we do it is fine, but we need to develop that idea. So how can we develop it saves time? So that's our task now. That's what I want you to do next. Okay, Amro, using technology makes the task achieve faster and with limited errors, and avoid any delay could happen due to human excuses. This is too many. This is too many reasons. I would like you to just develop one more clearly. And also, don't just talk about the outcome. Explain how that happens. So you don't want to just say it achieves it faster. We just said it saves time. It saves time because it's faster. But why is it faster? Talking about errors isn't relevant. because one of the main advantages could be that there are fewer errors. But saying there are fewer errors doesn't help us to develop the idea that it saves time. It could happen due to human excuses. So you're on the right track with human excuses, but you need to develop that more clearly. Go into that in a bit more detail. Aritra from Bangladesh, great. And you're very welcome. My next speaking lesson. So I'm going to have a post on Sunday where you can enter a lucky draw for a practice IELTS speaking test. And I also have speaking lessons in my live feedback lessons. Let me show you those now. So these are my live feedback lessons on Zoom. So you'll have speaking lessons there as well. I also have one-on-one essay corrections, one-on-one practice IELTS speaking tests. I have a writing course, and I will be finished a speaking course very soon, very close to completion. And that's looking really, really good too. I'm very happy with the progress and the content there. So yes, with the link I've just shared with you there, you'll be able to access that, all of that as well, all of those as well. Amro, perfect. Machines and robots operate on complex mechanisms, enabling them to produce better and more sophisticated results in a shorter period. No, because it's not that. You're talking about quality. You're focusing too much on quality, about the products are better and they're more sophisticated. But you need to explain, like, if I have a person doing car assembly, or if I have people making cars manually, or I have a robot or a machine assembling those cars, why is that? Why are the machines faster than the people? That's what you need to explain, and that's not what you're doing here. I'm doing very well, actually. Thank you. Leo, very welcome. Robot technology can act faster than humans, for example, CNC machines. Yes, getting closer. Not as detailed as I need your answer to be, but you're on the right track, saying that, they can physically move faster than humans. So yeah, you're on the right track, but I'd like it described in more detail. Idea generation. So the main thing about idea generation is you need to write down your ideas so you can analyze them, and you need to make sure that your ideas are specific and relevant. Those are the main things. If you don't write them down, it's difficult to make sure that they're specific and relevant. Because, for example, in this question, we need 4 main ideas. So if you're trying to think of 4 main ideas, trying to remember those 4 main ideas, or let's say you think of 8 ideas, and then you're trying to decide which 4 to use, and you have to analyze all of those 8 ideas for being specific, and you have to analyze all of those 8 ideas for being relevant, and you also have to not forget any of those 8 ideas. It's a very difficult task compared to you write them down. If any of them aren't appropriate, you just cross them out, look at the next one. So writing down your ideas, planning your ideas, and just make sure that they're all relevant and specific. Those are the main things. It is believed by many that technology saves time because robotics can lift heavy weights, spare parts. when assembling cars easily, which takes more time when it is done by humans. Excellent. Okay, good. So this is really on point. This is exactly what we're looking for. Just make it clear that that's an example, because you're talking very specifically about a specific area in which the technology is being used. But no, that's really good, Mahat. Work on instructions given to them to perform the same. That doesn't necessarily mean they're faster. That I don't see how this is saving time. Okay, so let's go with what Maha has written. Okay, so what we have, technology is used. So, because robotics can lift heavy weights, for example, when manufacturing automobiles. Let's see, what word did they say in the question? Car assembly, so we'll use just a different word when should automobiles. Robots can lift heavy weights and move them easily. Whereas this is very difficult to do manually and takes more time. So that's our first idea and development of that first idea. So that brings us to it saves money. Okay, so same task for you again. This time, how can we develop this idea? It saves money. The main benefit of using technology in our daily jobs is that it improves the efficiency of workload. Yep, that would be fine as a main idea. ATM and mobile banking made money transaction more easier, just easier, not more easier than ever before. We no longer need to go to the bank every time we need money or give it to someone or transfer it. Anytime we need to withdraw or transfer money. But again, make sure that you're linking that back. So you're trying to say why it saves time. So specifically, like really, really clearly state, it saves time because we don't need to, and then you say the things that you said. Big B, save time because technology can't get tired, and always appears all day. So the word be tired doesn't work, appear all day. So your language, your vocabulary isn't right, but your idea is actually very good. So you're saying, unlike humans, technology does not get tired or need time off. Therefore, they can spend all day, every day producing the products and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so that's good. For example, with the Foodie app, people don't need to waste their time ordering food directly or waiting in a long queue. People don't need to waste their time ordering food. Make that more clearly. People don't need to waste their time going to a restaurant and waiting in a long queue. So make it more clear where they're wasting time. I think like foodie, is that a Vietnamese thing? Is foodie a Vietnamese app? If it's a Vietnamese app, like don't expect everybody in the world to know it. You know, if you're talking about Amazon or eBay, like everybody knows Amazon and eBay because it's in pretty much every country in the world. But if you're talking about something that's unique to your country, and I don't know if Foodie is a Vietnamese app or not, but just make sure you make it clear what the app does. Enhance and improve people's lives. That would be too vague, Mervik. How does it enhance their lives? How does it improve their lives? So if you tell me how it improves their lives, that would be a specific idea. But at the moment, that's too vague. Machines reduce the need for more manpower as they are able to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without the need for rest. Okay, that is true, but you're not telling me how it saves time or money. How about using cybercrime and fraud as main idea of the advantages? The advantages are cybercrime and fraud? Ooh, they must be the disadvantages. You must mean disadvantages. As disadvantages, that would make sense. But would that be two ideas or one? Cybercrime and fraud. That's the same idea. So I'd say either say cybercrime or fraud as your disadvantage, and that would be okay. But not both. You couldn't use those as different ideas. Because fraud is a type of cybercrime. Well, when done online, obviously, if it's done offline, it's not a cybercrime. But you know, presumably, you're talking about that. Enhancement in technology brings down the number of jobs that earlier has to be done manually, like car assembly and bank transactions. So yeah, we had that idea already. Rupinder said unemployment rates. So that would be the same idea. Yep, and it is suitable. Hello, Itat. Good to see you here. Thanks for the flower. No, I figured that out. No, as a drawback, it makes sense for sure. It saves time because work is finished within an hour instead of 8 hours. That's too vague. So you're actually, no, you're describing the outcome. You're not explaining how it happens. So basically you said it saves time because it's faster. Well, you know, we can assume that it's the way to save time is to do something more quickly. So no, that won't work. You'll have to explain how can it be done in 1 hour instead of 8 hours? How is that happening? That's what your explanation needs to be, Irene. It had automation was once primarily the domain of factories and other controlled environments where machines could replace manual labor. That you're talking about automation, but you're not talking about the advantages and disadvantages of but what it says here, technology replacing manual labor or manual jobs. So no, that's not directly responding to the question in the way it needs to. So that's not suitable. Okay, so we're still looking for development of the idea why it saves time. How does it save time? Okay, Irene. Sorry, why it saves money. Excuse me, why it saves money. Okay, Arzu, it leads to save money as companies need not to pay for human resources and efforts. Rather, they will invest money on development of technologies. For instance, with the introduction of ATM machines, it becomes easier to perform transactions, due to which there is a reduction in employment for manpower. I would say, like with ATMs, just say that the cost of running an ATM is much cheaper than the price of paying a staff member to manually give cash to clients. Let's just make it clear. But no, that's good. Okay, so Arzu's on Facebook. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to add that to our paragraph. Okay, so we had our first advantage. And then just introduce the next one. Another advantage is that it saves money as companies don't need to pay employees money as no, so we have to say that the technology is cheaper. Another advantage is that it saves money as companies spend less money on the technology than they do paying employees to do the same job. For instance, with the introduction of ATM machines, banks significantly reduced their overheads because they needed fewer staff members. Right, there. Right, so that is our first body paragraph complete. We have developed how it saves time and how it saves money. Perfect. Okay, so from there, whereas the disadvantages are high unemployment rates. Okay, good. So again, that's the next task. How can we develop this idea? Why are there higher unemployment rates? Robots can save money because it does not need, you have robots and it, so robots and they do not need more manpower. So who are they? So it does not need more manpower. Who is it? That's not clear, because a robot doesn't need manpower. So is it the company does not need more manpower? So that pronoun is very unclear, which needs a huge amount of money to hire them, whereas robots need one investment, which is lesser than the cost of employees. Yeah, so what you said makes sense. That pronoun is pretty confusing though. Mohammed Usman Aslam. Advantages of this situation are reduction in cost and achieving the targets in less time, whereas the advantage is less jobs for skilled resources. Yes, but you needed two disadvantages. So everything is fine, but you needed two. It is easy to survey the consumer behaviors using the artificial intelligence system, which is very convenient to receive. This has got nothing to do with, okay, so I'm just going to keep everyone focused on what we're doing in the lesson. I don't want random ideas. You know, we're very logically piecing an essay together. So when people start throwing in extra ideas, it doesn't really fit with what we're doing in the lesson. So just stay focused on what we're doing. The idea we're looking at is this situation creates high unemployment rates. How can we develop that idea? Okay, so that's the task. So it saves money because few people are being employed to work as they are being exchanged with technology. Yeah, but just say as well how the technology is cheaper than the employees. You know, like it's obvious, but you have to state the obvious in the IELTS test. So like to explain it, just imagine the person doesn't know anything about the situation, and you have to say the price of buying and running the technology is less than the price of paying staff to do the same job. That's essentially how it saves money. And it's obvious, but you haven't really made that 100% clear. You've just said they don't need to pay staff, but they're still paying technology. So, make it abundantly clear that that technology is cheaper than the staff. Irene, it leads to higher unemployment rates because menial jobs are being taken over by robots. I wouldn't say menial jobs. That term wouldn't be right. And I think as well, like so it's not like it's not just that the people doing the manual jobs, these manual jobs, it's not that they're being replaced. It's that the overall unemployment rate of a country is now higher. So like let's say, think of it this way. Let's say before it took 10 people to assemble a car. Now it takes a robot. But of course, there are people building those robots. There are people maintaining those robots. So it's not that when you consider like the overall employment rate in the country, if you have people building robots to build the cars, that still new jobs are being created by the technology. And then of course it has to be maintained, whatever, like whatever maintenance is involved in these robots. So there other jobs are created. But what we're talking about is overall the overall employment rate of the country is now higher. So it's not just these specific people in the question are losing their jobs, but overall there is now more unemployment in the country as a consequence of this situation. And that's what you need to describe. Amelia. Tech-savvy manufacturers replace their workforce with machines to increase their productivity. So their productivity would be the productivity of the workforce. So it would just be to increase productivity and lessen human errors, causing a loss of job vacancies to be filled up in their companies. You'll still need to take it at a higher level. So it's not just there are fewer jobs in that company, but a high unemployment rate refers to a country's the, the percentage for the country. So it's not the main idea isn't there will be fewer people working in that company or fewer people working in that facility or that factory. It's overall in the entire country there will be fewer jobs. And that's what you need to explain. So essentially the same thing as Irene. Okay, that's good, Irene. Sorry, I had my mic muted. This is irrelevant. When there is higher employment rates, it will lead to more crime. I don't need to know the consequences of higher unemployment rates. I need to know why there are higher unemployment rates. So we're now using technology in place of a lot of manual jobs. Why does that result in higher unemployment rates? So you need to explain how that happens, not the consequences of that happening. So you're focused on the wrong thing here. Okay, Rupinder, one of the disadvantages of using machines is high unemployment rates. In every sector, the technology-based method is used to do work instead of manual workforce. As a result, many people are unemployed. No, because you're just repeating what the question said. So you can't use the concept from the question to explain your main idea. The first advantage of enhancement of technology is it reduces the amount of work need to be done by labor manually. As a result, it reduces the cost and usage of labor. No. What main idea is this? It reduces the amount of work. So what's our main idea? It saves time. So you need to state the main idea that you're talking about in the first sentence and then develop it. So like we're looking at here, state the main idea, develop it, state another main idea, state another main idea, and then develop it. So you need to be more focused on following that format. You can't allude to the explanation and then bring it back to the main idea. You need to state the main idea first and then develop it. For example, less number of resources working on something result in less costly as compared to the greater number of resources working on that project. What resources? And basically what you're trying to say is the price of running the technology is cheaper than the price of paying staff to do it manually. That's basically what you need to say. Big B, people at risk of losing their jobs because companies want to save their time and money in order to attract more people to use their products. No, because you see, it already says in the question that people are losing their jobs. It says it here. An increasing number of jobs that used to be done manually, such as car assembly and it replaces an increasing number of jobs. So it literally says that in the question. So what you have to say is why the overall unemployment rate in the country is higher. The disadvantage of increased usage of technology, replacement of man force with machines, which reduces the number of people required to accomplish the work, resulting many of the people unemployed. So this is too wordy. You just need to restate the main idea concisely and then explain it. So you haven't actually explained it here. You've just said it in a way that took a lot of words. So basically what you've said here is and it would have to be, you'd have to say one disadvantage or add disadvantage because we need to mention two. So let's say a disadvantage of using technology instead of manual labor is that it increases unemployment rates. That's basically what you've said, but just you've inserted more words with which to say that. Reduction of cost. So you would need to say that in the first sentence, yeah. Hey, Stella. Sorry, I can't participate today. It's half term. No chance to concentrate. Perfect. Watch the recording. Talk to you next time, Stella. Emila, for example, a computer software produced in the past called The Fool was able to generate art resembling to a popular human artist. In response to this, artwork produced manually would take a step backwards and artists would eventually lose their rice bowl. That must be a phrase from your language that you've translated into English. that isn't something we would say, and it doesn't have any meaning in English. So be careful with that. Phrases in your language don't translate into English. And likewise, if you take an idiom or a phrase from English, they don't translate directly. We would normally have different phrases. So no, that phrase doesn't communicate what you're trying to say. Okay, Sarwa, on the other hand, the continued usage and advancement of technology causes high unemployment rate because few people are employed in a workforce as technology replaces manpower. Yeah, that's good. But what you needed to say was fewer people are employed in the workforce because technology is replacing most or a lot of the manpower. Yeah, that's fine. But fewer, you have to say fewer. Good. More physical jobs that require human interactions would be replaced by high-tech machines in most of the business in order to reduce the cost and increase the effectiveness. Again, you're kind of repeating the idea. So let me just tell you what I'd say. So I'd say something like this. Even though there are jobs required to design, produce, and maintain these types of technology, overall, there are fewer people required than when the jobs were done manually. Therefore, the overall employment rate is higher. So that's what I would say. There are still jobs created, but the number of jobs created are fewer than the number of jobs that were done manually. That's what I would say. That's how I would describe that. Did I look at this already? Yeah, we did. So by doing it reduces the cost involved in recruiting new workers. No, so what idea are you looking at? No, you can't. You have to talk about employment rates, not costs. When you're discussing employment rates, you must focus on employment rates. You can't change the topic. Some would argue that technology saves people time and money, while others believe that high unemployment is among the main cons. Yep, but you need two disadvantages. So it said advantages and disadvantages. You've only included one disadvantage, so that's not appropriate. Okay, so my last task for you today is to write the conclusion. So we've written the introduction, we've written the first body paragraph, we discussed how to develop the first half of the first body paragraph. Obviously, you're developing the second body paragraph in the same way as the first. Explain why develop why there are high unemployment rates, develop why there's a dependency on technology. So we have 1, 2, the paragraph I talked about, and then we'll finish with the conclusion. So that's what I want from you now. Write the conclusion and share that with me. I would just make sure that you can do that, and that will mean that you know exactly how to respond to this question. As technology is increasing day by day, it is creating more and more opportunities for us to do better in our daily life, daily necessities, but also it is closing many job opportunities for us. Uh, Saying it's better in our daily life is too vague. Why is it so? If you can tell me why is it better in our daily life, that would be an appropriate idea. But if you just say it's better, that's a vague idea. Generally, how you know it's a vague idea is when you try to explain it, you end up with a list of more specific ideas. So that's to make sure that your ideas are specific. Consider how you'll explain them. And once you realize that your explanation is turning into a list of actual specific ideas, you know that you've gone wrong. The first disadvantage of this situation is high unemployment rate, as the advancements of technology brings manual jobs shifted towards automation side, which result in high unemployment. No, so you're describing what the question says. So again, you have to say why there's more unemployment now. So not just that the people doing manual jobs are losing. It's not just the number of people doing manual work is decreasing. It's that the overall employment rate of the country is higher. And that's not the same thing. There is an increase in employment rates because companies prefer to invest money on advanced technologies as they are better to operate in. There is an increase in unemployment rates because companies prefer to invest money on advanced technologies as they are better to operate in compared to manpower, which eventually results in lesser requirements of human involvement for the same. No, you're still just talking about what's happening within the factories. So like there are fewer manual jobs. That's what the question is saying. But we have to say how there are fewer jobs overall in the country. So obviously the production, manufacture, design, the maintenance of the machines, those are new jobs that didn't exist before. Um, so it's not just that the guys doing the manual work or the ladies doing the manual work is decreasing. There are other jobs coming about because of the technology. So you have to explain the full context. Okay, so it'd be good to see a conclusion before we finish up here. Okay, here we go, Rupinder. In conclusion, technological advancement decreases jobs that require manual labor. So manual force doesn't work. This is beneficial to save time and money, but also possesses a threat to employment rates and more dependency on technology. Okay, so Rupinder has included everything that we want in a good conclusion. The context is there. The 4 main ideas are there. That's everything. Some small vocab mistakes, nothing to worry about, because we're just looking at the content and the structure right here. So for you, Rupinder, definitely those vocab mistakes are an issue. But for everyone else, Rupinder has shown you exactly what's required to write a good conclusion. So we got exactly what we wanted there. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have time for today. Unless anybody has a few specific questions that they'd like to ask, I'll be happy to help. But we've very much covered how to respond to that question right there. Okay, we have another conclusion here. In conclusion, although technology has significantly facilitated people's life, including saving money and time, it leads to an emergence of unemployment phenomenon by putting countries in technology dependency circle. No, because you're missing a fundamental part of the context of the question. We're not talking about technology. We're talking about technology replacing manual labor. So this conclusion isn't appropriate. Sir, do we have any classes on weekends? No classes on weekends? No, I do not. My like any of the students on my courses, like students on my writing course, students using my essay corrections, my speaking tests, like we work together at the weekends. But no, the free group lessons are just weekly. Okay, so it seems like there aren't any other questions at the moment. So let's wrap it up there for today. My live feedback lesson tomorrow is on task 2. So if you're not already registered, you can use that link to sign up. Like I said, I have writing course, speaking course almost finished, and one-on-one essay corrections and mock speaking tests. All can be found with that same link. Itat, you're very welcome. Glad you liked it. Brilliant. Good to hear, Itat. Glad to hear you're getting better. Very welcome, sir. Very welcome, Maha. Okay, so let's finish up there for today. Take care of yourselves, everyone. And as always, if you have any friends, family members, colleagues, you're in any IELTS groups, make sure to share complete test success with them. Okay, till next time. Bye-bye.